Saludos y bienvenidos to everybody to the PGP podcast. Hey, everybody. Josh Tovar, proud principal of Memorial Pathway Academy in Garland, SD, Garland, USA, ready for the last show of the year. Last show of the year today. Adios. Adios to 2025. Hope everyone had an awesome Navidad. Merry Christmas, Hanukkah. Third day of Kwanzaa, I believe. Third day right now. You're enjoying all your celebrations, whatever it is, with your loved ones, your families. Give everybody an extra hug. Give everybody an extra kiss. Get an extra heaping spoonful of whatever you eat. Enjoy it. It's all right. You're going to work it off once the kids come in. But hey, thank you for being here. We really appreciate you being part of the show because you know one thing that is never guaranteed in life is time. And you've given us some of your time, whether it be on the live or on the rebroadcast. But it's so important that you help us out by liking and sharing the show. Like and share the show to make sure that all this awesome knowledge, all these beautiful thoughts that are about to be shared with all of you across the United States are given out into the atmosphere, out into the edusphere, whatever it might be of either Maine or whether it be Florida, whether it be Alaska, whether it be Hawaii or anywhere in the 48. And remember, if you want to be part of the PGP podcast, that is part of the Fantastic Four Network, Super Saturday with Coach Sean Hurt at 10 o'clock Eastern Time on Facebook Live. All of these Eastern Time, Facebook Live, 10:30. Some doctors that we might know right there, Dr. Houston, Dr. Taylor. And then in January Jefe is going to go to 11 o'clock Eastern Time. El Jefe, who knows every single last individual out in the world, but you know what? He brings the true corazon, the true heart and knowledge of education for all our scholars and all educators, because he's one of those people that we always look up to, admire, and he brings the truth bombs. So if you want to be part of this broadcast, this one right here, please reach out to us, to Dr. Moreno. And Dr. Moreno, Mari, what's up with you? She told me she's taking morphine right now, Shika, because she's in pain. And I'm like, Mari, we love you. That's not a good way to bring in 2026. But
no, it's not.
You wanted to be a trooper. Can you believe that, Shika? She wanted to be on the show. Go, hey, está loca, you're crazy. Those medications get better so we could get you for next week's show. But the great thing about being connected, there are a lot of great things about connections. And it's this beautiful woman right here next to me. Last minute, I said, Shika, you want to come and co-host? She's done it in the past while Mari was in Tanzania, in Africa, and she came on over, and just like a true trooper, I owe her dinner when I go to South Carolina in March for helping me out these last 2 times, Dr. Shika Houston. Please introduce yourself to everybody, Shika Houston, and most importantly, that book right there that you got on the side, tell them about Amir's Awakening.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here with my Fantastic Four brother, filling in for my sister, Dr. Mari Moreno, and we are praying for your healing and getting better. We want to see you back next Sunday, so get better. But we have been out promoting Amir's Awakening. This is the first children's book in our Resilience series. Amir's Awakening, his amazing journey to ancient Egypt from classroom to consciousness, gives children a look into where their history actually begins, where the story's not starting with where some of it starts in our mainstream education with enslavement and those types of things. So it's very empowering, very much giving them an education on some things that they haven't heard before, but also giving them opportunities to see themselves in the learning. And it is not just for African-American children, because we know that the research shows that these types of cultural relevant books are good for every child. So thank you, Josh, for the plug.
Well, not only you also provide other services. So please tell the audience, starting 2026, hey, principal, I know you haven't used that Title I money. I know you've been sitting on your hands. I know you got at least 100,000 or something right there just sitting in the coffers. Call these 2 beautiful ladies. Tell them what services you got.
Awesome. Well, thank you. So as the co-founder of Create and Educate, I am also an educational consultant. My co-founder and I moved our report card grades 2 levels at my middle school in 1 year, 3 levels in 1 year at her elementary school. And we did that using what we've developed as for it to be duplicatable, the REAL framework. So that includes principles that revolve around respect, excellence, accountability, literacy, and leadership. So our report cards not only increased, but our reading percentile levels went from the 7th percentile to the 97th percentile in 1 year. And a lot of it had to do with some of the same concepts that we see in Amir's Awakening, making sure that children believe in themselves, they know who they are, they're empowered, but also through my town hall meetings, that children, the teachers saw the children for who they really were and not who they thought they were. As Ken Williams, our brother Ken Williams says, that school and those children, we treat children as we know that they can do things, they will rise to the occasion. So that's what the framework and our work is all about: belief, empowerment, and seeing the same results in that duplicatable framework. So you can contact us on our website, www.createandeducate.solutions.
Oh, and I love when he always talks about that school. Ken Williams is the man with a cowboy hat, the man. But most importantly, he says, you give me 4 cards, and you're playing with 5 cards, I'm going to make my kids succeed. I love that line when he was interviewed by Principal Cafele, that he said that it doesn't matter what the game is, I'm going to make my scholars succeed. Man, that's the type of 2026 mentality that we need to have for our scholars and for each other as team members, always working very hard. So, this is a part of the show right now where I call it the chinchilagua moment. And she goes like, what is that? How do you eat that? No, it's not sea moss. No, it's not fishaholics. Tell everybody, you're a pescatarian. What is it?
Pescatarian, yes, that is my healthy lifestyle choice, and I'm doing well. Thank you.
There she goes. Well, it's not a pescatarian deal. It's a Mexican game. Hondureños also play. And what you do is you line up all your family in the fiestas, and you yell, chinchilagua arriba, boy, and you run, and you jump on top of your uncle. Then your grandma runs, and she jumps on top of her niece and nephews. Everybody, it's a human pyramid until someone falls down and someone gets hurt, and then mama's coming out with a belt, boom, boom, hitting everybody. Well, my chinchilagua moment, the last one for 2025 is this. Hey guys, let's enjoy the beautiful time that we have right now with our family, but let's carry that spirit forward to our scholars. We can't walk in for us, it's going to be January the 6th. We can't walk in with the first line out of our mouths, it wasn't long enough. Oh my God, you just set yourself up. Remember, we always tell everybody about growth mindset, but that's the person that always starts off growth mindset, but you're the one being negative. No, you can't. You can't walk in the first day of school and say, oh, I wish it was one more day. No, you're setting yourself up for failure. Not only that, but we need to make sure that this second part, the third quarter of the game, that we make sure that we promote the beautiful things that are happening. Because right now we're going to start hiring people. We're going to start hiring and attracting employees to your school. So what are you putting out there in the zone to attract people to go to you? Let's say that you're a D- school, right? And you want to have top talent. Well, you got to promote out there that with their help, you're going to kick it up to a C. With their help, you're going to kick it up with a B. With their dedication and that love that Ken Williams talks about. But if you're putting out negativity, which right now, we can't do that. TikTok is just saturated by educators of putting down the profession. I've said like around for 5 or 10 shows, stop shooting our profession in the foot. Stop speaking ill of it, because there's millions of educators out there working their butts off to make sure they connect with scholars. There's tons of educators spending money out of their pocket buying peanut butter cookies, buying deodorant, buying whatever it is from the Walmart to have a snack full of drawers for their scholars. There are people busting their behind. But you know who gets the call? All those people crying in their cars. No, that's inappropriate. And you know what? If you out there, you're doing everything possible. You have to promote the positivity that is our field. We're the best profession. We create all the other professions. And if we're allowing the squeaky wheel to only be heard, then people are going to get this negative connotation. So if you're a senior in high school, why would you want to become an educator when educators are complaining about that field? If you are an alt-cert people, forget that. I ain't going alt-cert. I'm not going to pay all those dues, to become alternative certified to go into negativity. No, there's an exodus in our field. Thousands across the country left right now in December. We know that. We know that. This December, we lost thousands across the country. And what are we doing to fill those up? There aren't educators. Back in the Jurassic period, when I started in the 90s, we used to have like 5 pages of candidates. We used to have nonstop. And right now, we're lucky we find 3 candidates. So what are we doing to help promote it? Please do something. Promote the beautiful thing that is your campus. Promote the beautiful thing that happens at your school. It doesn't matter if it's an F. Spotlight the great things on the F. It doesn't matter if it's a D. Spotlight the great things on there. And that's how success breeds success, as long as you keep on putting it out there. We need to be the change agents. We always tell our kids, be the change agent America needs. Well, what about us as educators? We need to make sure that we promote that, because we're in the best profession out there. What are your thoughts, Shika?
You're absolutely right, Josh. I remember the exact moment in that interview process when the tide had turned. We used to interview teachers, but now they interview us. So if you don't know how to sell your school, if you don't have an elevator pitch, if you don't have a vision, if you don't have something that people want to tap into, you might as well say, hey, they're going to the next place, because they have multiple places lined up now where they're going to tour. They want to come in and see what you're offering. Tammy takes people around the district to tour the schools first, because we have to do a great job of selling our schools to the teachers to see if they actually even want to work there. And you're right. A lot of people who came to work with me after I had 17 people to exit when we raised the bar on expectations, and I refilled every position with people that helped us reach that vision. What they said was, the reason why we came, we bought into you. We bought into your vision. We wanted to be a part of the change that we knew was going to happen at your school because you were leading it. And that's what you have to produce at your schools when you're trying to get other people to come in and help you with your vision.
Perfect. Love it. Love it. Love it. Perfect. So be that individual. Be that person that brings back the spirit, the heart, el corazón para los hijos, the heart for your children, to make sure that they're part of that community, and you can do that. Trust me. As Jimmy Casas always says, go back to the interview chair. You never said during the interview, oh, I will kick out that kid from class. I ain't going to put up there with their nonsense. You would say, I will do everything possible so that I connect with that kid. Well, bring that person back. Bring that person back in 2026 and make sure that you spot the light on that beautiful thing that's known your beautiful campus. And all campuses are beautiful because we're creating scholars and building the best version of that campus for that school year. If you want to hear a little bit more from last year, what did we talk about on Adios 2024? Go back to episode 34, where we had a different panel talking about 2025. Let's see how much of their thoughts matched. I don't know, but let's talk about right now. We have this America. We have America in the house. We have one coast to the other coast represented on our panel today. I'm almost done bringing everybody in. Almost there. The computer's like me. It's old and it's taking its time. I lost a candidate. Right? Hold on. I lost somebody. I lost Callie. Hold on. Come on, Callie. There we go. Welcome, panel. Muchas gracias por estar aquí. Thank you for being here. Love it. And I'm going to hand it over to my sister, my South Carolinian Gamecock sister, Stick, Shika.
Thank you, Josh. Welcome to the show, everyone. So we usually start off with you all giving the audience a brief background on the different roles that you've served in while you were in education, and tell us your current role, and also which one was your favorite and why. We'll start with, oh, Josh, I can't see the names. We'll start with Doc at the bottom, Dr. Joe Griffin.
Oh, okay. Good afternoon, everyone. It's definitely a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate you, Dr. Houston, and everyone that's on the panel. Good evening again to you all as well. So I'm Dr. Joe Griffin, and I am originally from Mississippi. That's where I did a lot of the bread and butter of my work before relocating to California, and that's where I've been the last 5 years or so. And been principal at a number of schools and was able to help turn around about 5 of them or so. So I'm definitely appreciative of all of that groundwork that was laid before me and the teams that I work with, because if you know anything about my background, I'm all about working with and through people. I have a personal mantra that I connect with and empower people. So, and I have exhibited that, through my work as a school turnaround lead, a school improvement specialist. So during those times, probably the most favorite of those principal positions before being a consultant and also helping to lead different school turnarounds. I would say that the most favorite was probably leading the school from a D to a B in 1 year for the first time in the history of that school. And then we were able to keep it for 4 years. And that school has gone on now to become an A, and still connected with a lot of the people. And, we made history. We left a great legacy. And one of the things that I like to say, in addition to all of the relationships that we make along the way, your data is also, that's your legend. It appears in a ledger, but it's also your legend. So I'm happy for those experiences as a school leader. So came out to Cali, also as a school leader, helped get a charter school off the ground in Oakland before coming on down to Los Angeles, where I decided it's time to decide to, do it on a bigger scale, be able to help more people, more school communities, and just be a support system for educators. I know that across the 24 years that I've been serving in these particular roles, there hadn't always been people that wanted to help. A lot of people gatekeep, a lot of people try to hold secrets and things of that nature. But I believe in sharing the information, and as I said before, connecting with and empowering people. So that's a little bit about my professional background.
Awesome. Good stuff. And we appreciate Dr. Joe Griffin is one of our real fan members who tunes into all 4 platforms. So we appreciate you always in the work that you do. So we'll hear from Principal Kenyelle Williams. No, let me see the name. What's Sessions? Kenyelle Sessions. Next.
Yeah, that's okay. I love to still tell people in the personal and professional space. I have Kenyelle Williams, and I have the honor to now go back to my maiden name, which is Kenyelle Session. And so I embrace and I am proud of all of my names. So, but yes, so I am Principal Kenyelle Session. I am principal on a roll. ROLL, and what that means, what that stands for, who I am, which means I am ready, I am optimistic, I am loyal to the mission, and I am liberated. That's who I am. That is who I subscribe to be. We roll. Usually there's a little skate emoji around, there somewhere, because we skate in my building. We have a skate club. We skate the halls, we skate the gym, and we just have fun. So principal on a roll. This is my 16th year in education. I have served in the capacity of a long-term substitute. That's how I started out, and then went into the classroom, and then I became an instructional coach, and then an assistant principal, and I am now in my 3rd year as a head principal. So I feel brand new all over again. Even after 16 years, it's the newness of it, but I absolutely love it. I lead from a place of love, there's a skate emoji, not loving my staff or our scholars to failure, but loving them to be the best versions of who they are and who they can be. So that's me.
Absolutely. And did you tell us what your favorite was?
So my favorite role has to be the instructional coach role. It's middle management, but when I tell you, you get the best of all the worlds from your scholars, your kiddos. You not only do you see their light bulbs go on and stay on, but you get to see the light bulbs of the teachers, the ones who are facilitating the learning, go on and stay on. And so you see this big evolution of learning. And so an instructional coach was just like having my big school, my own learning lab. That was my favorite role.
Awesome, awesome. Principal on the roll. I love it. So we will go to Robert from Las Vegas next.
Yes, thank you. Robert Hinchliff, principal at Tyrone Thompson in Las Vegas, which is one of the many five-star schools in Vegas, leading the way out here in Nevada. By far and away, my favorite role in my career has been opening Tyrone Thompson. We opened in the middle of the pandemic in 2020, so that was a great challenge, opening a brand new school online with a bunch of parents that didn't know you, didn't trust you, sending their most precious children to you in the middle of a time like that. That was the biggest challenge. My goal, honestly, though, along with just being a principal, is I've written. I was blessed to go author a book with Dr. Brad Johnson many years ago, and that has kind of sprung me to write. I'm on number 12 now. I'm pretty sure that Josh will discuss one later, but I wanted to give a shout out to Josh because, and I know we're going to, there it is, more than just principles. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate that. But hey, Josh was talking a little bit ago, and he's so right. In fact, when he talks about how we are, there's so much negativity online about our profession, I actually wrote a book called Stop Eating Our Own with the AP, and it's all about making the case for positivity in education. And essentially, there are too many people out there who are just talking negative about our profession, and he's right. Like, are high school people going to want to go be educators if they see everything online? Probably not. So we got to stop eating our own, and that kind of leads me to my favorite non-principal role is that I just try to work to make an impact in our profession somehow, some way. That's why I have 12 books now. All of them have the goal of making an impact somehow, some way, whether I'm speaking at schools or districts and motivating the people who are in the trenches or writing a book to help people. In the end, if you're not going to make an impact in your profession, what's the point of doing it? That's kind of my mantra.
All right. Thank you. I got to get that book, Stop Eating Our Own. So we'll go to Chad next.
Hi, my name is Ostrowski. I'm the CEO and co-founder of the Teach Better team. I've been in education for 15 years. I started my work in high needs inner city schools, working with our most needy population. Through some innovative practices, I was able to develop a framework called the Method, which is a self-paced mastery learning framework that helped kids achieve more than they ever had before. In the last 10 years and decade, I've worked with schools across the country to implement everything from mastery-based to standards-based learning practices, as well as student-centered practices with a focus on mastery learning. My current role is absolutely my favorite role because it has the greatest impact on as many teachers and leaders as humanly possible. So I get to share my message of trying to be a little bit better every single day across the country, whether it's through keynotes, workshops, supporting schools, consulting work, and everything in between. So I'm proud of that work, love that role, and absolutely thrilled to be here.
Awesome. Thank you, Chad. We got some heavy hitters tonight, Josh. And up in the top corner, Assistant Superintendent, Miss Tammy Clark. We'll go to you next.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me this evening. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Tammy Clark. I've been in education for 28 years. I started out as a middle school science teacher and coach in a very small town in South Texas. I've only worked in 2 districts. I've been here in Granbury since 2002 in lots of different roles. I also enjoyed the instructional coaching role that you spoke of, and I've been a middle school principal and just enjoyed everything along the way. I stayed in the classroom for 16 years and I stayed coaching for 21 years while I was being an assistant principal. And so I have enjoyed every single role I've been in, but if I had to pick one, I'm going to say I'm happy where my feet are now. Being in the assistant superintendent, I get to support 10 wonderful principals in our district and have an impact on all of the campuses and the families and so I echo the loving it right now. I really love being an assistant superintendent in Granbury ISD.
Awesome. Good stuff. Thank you for being here. And middle school people are my people. Over to you, Josh.
There you go. Big shout out to Dr. Melissa Jones Jr. from Tulsa, Oklahoma, in the house. The super coach, our number one cheerleader, Dot McKeever Jeter, spending out the love to everybody. Yeah, I'll text you later, Dot. Eric Francis, Maverick. Oh, if you want somebody that talks to you about depth of knowledge, someone that talks to you about questioning students, something about all that kind and 80s trivia, that's the cat. But most importantly, how he teaches educators about depth of knowledge. Reach out to that guy. David Stack, he got the thanks to the PGP podcast and others. He got his 25 people that he needed for his PhD. David, thank you for being here. Ali Torres from MPA. Jeff Linden, one of the best podcasts out there. Thank you for being here. Rachel Foster, I don't know. Kenyo, you got the whole family here on call, being your cheerleader. Love it right there. And Kay Sessions, thank you for being part of the show. So we're going to start off with you, Chad. Very simple. We don't fake the funk here. And I agree with everybody, all right? We are in a great profession, but something about us as educators, we need to know if you bring the street cred. We need to know that, because when we go to PDs, we go to breakout sessions at conferences, and we hear somebody like, bro, have you ever done that? You talk a good game, but have you ever done it? You're faking the funk. You know, there's some people that present and like, dude, you haven't even been a principal. Why are you talking like that? All right. So we don't fake the funk here. So, hey, Chad, real quick, who or what motivated you to become an educator? Who or what? Because sometimes it's either one of those. And don't fake the funk, brother. How was your first year in the classroom?
Absolutely, man. So who made me a better educator? The worst year of my life made me the best educator I could be, to your point. I actually almost quit education. I was in a brand new school with a brand new principal, 100% economically disadvantaged students, trying to build a STEM and innovative program as the science department head for the districts as well in that role. And everything I had done in the past that I thought worked stopped working. And if you've been a teacher, you know that feeling when everything that used to work just stops working overnight. That was the situation I was in. And I was struggling, man. I was fighting for my life, staring at that bell, counting down the seconds for every period in pure, unadulterated survival mode. And I was thinking at home, my family was suffering and I was suffering. And I'm trying to be real with everybody here for a second and just this, like unloading my trauma, so to speak. And so I almost quit teaching. I was done. My family was done. My colleagues were done. We were all done. And I was at a place where I either needed to stop doing this profession because I had gotten to a place where I had become the enemy of my students and they had become my enemy. It was me versus them, survival mode every single day. And at that moment, I needed to do one of two things. I needed to quit what I was doing because I was doing more harm than good, or I needed to start thinking differently about what I was doing in the classroom. Because kids can't be the problem. We have to be the change that we want to see in our classrooms. They can't be the problem because they're the ones that we have to serve. And so I started looking at the biggest problems I had in my classroom, disengagement, and I started to think about ways to reach those kids. And through that process of being a little bit better every single day, I was able to start using mastery learning, scaffolding instruction, differentiation strategies, formative assessment, and putting all that together into the single framework that I now call the grid method. I didn't know it was called that back then, but that truly saved my career. And it was when I stopped and made the decision that this wasn't going to be it. I can do better, so I will do better for the kids in front of me every single day. Those kids are the ones who was the reason I was better, who was able to become better, and gifted me everything that built the last 10 years of my career working with districts across the country. So not only were they able to gift that to me and save my career, they've been able to help schools and districts across the country without ever even knowing it. So that's my excited and overly exaggerated answer to that question.
Well, hey, You ain't faking the funk, brother. We love the honesty right there. Appreciate ya. Tammy, who or what motivated you? And how was your
Oh,
first year?
my very first year, I was very young. I graduated college in 3 years. So I was 21 years old. I had graduated with a degree in environmental chemistry and from a foreign college. And I came back to Texas where my family was. And so I somebody needed a science teacher and a coach. And I said, I love science and I love sports. And so that sounds like a wonderful job for now, right? Because at the time I was living at my parents' house and I needed to get out. And so I got this job and it was just such a blessing. I had a science department head that we co-taught the first period of the day, and she taught me everything about good teaching and everything about loving children that I needed to know to be a fabulous instructor. And so I couldn't have had a better mentor at the time, and so that really made my first year nice. And so maybe my second year was a little bit harder because they took the training wheels off, and I had to do it myself. But I had a mentor right down the hall, and so my experience was not like a lot of people's first year experiences. I know there I was spoiled, but I think that experience solidified the profession for me. It made it it made it so solid having that good mentor teacher that was helping me learn everything that I needed to know so that I would be ready to control the classroom the rest of the day. And so I had a great first and a great year ever since. So that's my story, and I try to give everyone else that support. Those first year teachers that are there, I know they're drinking through a fire hose, and giving them some support, and helping principals understand how much support they need, to spoil them the same so that they can fall in love with this profession and really focus on their students. That's a passion of mine.
Love it, Tammy. Love it. Beautiful. Take note. Hey, new principal. Write that down. Help them youngins. Write that down. Dr. Jose, Dr. Joe, who or what motivated you? And how was your first year? Don't fake the funk.
Okay. I would have to say my parents motivated me because both of them are educators. I was raised, my mama raised me as a single mother, but my dad was a school teacher. And he taught 25 years and my mother taught 51 years. And she just recently retired about 3 years ago. So I fought against it. I said I wasn't going to be a school teacher. You know, they don't make enough money, it's not enough this and that. But after college, came home in 2001 from college. Of course, I was planning on going overseas to continue my basketball career. But during that time, the World Trade Center bomb happened. So a lot of overseas travel and things like that. World shut down. Wasn't and people just weren't going over that year. So during the spring of that year, I started as a substitute teacher, and I subbed for about a month, that month of January, and then February, I took the test, the praxis test, and a teacher's husband came on the job, and this is another one of the reasons why I'm such a big proponent support of domestic violence. But he came on the job and physically abused the lady, and she ended up leaving and going to Texas. And uh, I entered right there, and of course I had taken the test, so I signed my first contract for $23,000 and $23,700. That was a long time ago, but it was good for me, and started on that route from there. And I had a couple of influences that really helped push me along the way as a leader and in the profession. One was Principal Roosevelt Ramsey, and rest in peace, Bro Ramsey, because we didn't like each other when he was living, but I appreciate him so much after it was all over, because he told me as a second year teacher, I remember he told me, uh, I'm out of college and been teaching about a year. He comes on, and after the meeting, I said, "Look, man, you're gonna have to stop talking to me like that. I'm a man, that kind of thing." And he said, "Griffin, that's what I've been waiting on you to do. I told you were a man. You should be helping leading all the other teachers." So from that point on, we clicked, and he started empowering me. I'm like a second, third year English teacher, and we moved on through. We end up moving to school academically and athletically because I was assistant coach, so I was able to help lead the school to its first basketball championship as well. And it was just a really good thing. And then I'm going to add this too. On top of that, Coach Isaiah Peterson, the legendary Peterson, I was able to be his assistant coach while I was still teaching English grade 7 through 11 and what have you. And he allowed me to really work as an assistant. He allowed me to speak to the team. He allowed me to coordinate a lot of the strength and conditioning. He allowed me to really, really work and build those relationships and ultimately build my leadership capacity as well. Because as you all know, as leaders of the school, we're simply coaches anyway, and we have to tie everything together, meet everyone's need, and push them to next and greater levels. So that's who inspired me. And those are a few of the people who have inspired me.
Thank you, Dr. Joe. Appreciate it. Big shout out to Joshua Stamper. Thank you for being here. Great guy, great podcast. Follow him. His brand new book with Charlie Peck. Check it out. Past guest here on the PGP podcast. Jefe, you better be with mama. Don't you be listening to no PGP podcast. All right. She put up with all your nonsense in high school. You better be with mama right there. And Constance Sherrard, thank you for tuning in. Hey, Robert. Who or what inspired you to be an educator, and how was your first year? Be real.
So I was inspired. I was a teacher's aide when I was a sophomore in high school, and I got to go help in a special education classroom. And I'll never forget it. I was teaching a student named Sean with Down syndrome, and we learned something. And I said, "Give me 5," and he gave me 5. And like when the hands clapped, I knew where I was going with my life. And I've never looked back. That's not true. I wasn't tall enough to play basketball or quarterback. But other than that, I knew where I was going with my life. And then my high school principal, Dan Butler, was just the coolest guy. But at the same point in time, he'd put you in your place if you needed it. So those are the two that really inspired me to be educators for sure. And then my first year was tough because I moved from rural Washington State. I went to the University of Idaho in Moscow. Very rural, student taught in a small town in Idaho, and moved to Las Vegas. And I got hired at a school that had about 1,000 kids, which was the size of my hometown. And it was just way, way, way different. And I remember crying after my first observation. Grown men do cry. It happens. But then I think that just, getting out of your comfort zone, that's what makes you grow as well. So, it was tough, but what I learned most the first year was that relationships matter more than everything. And once the students and I connected on a personal level and the colleagues and I connected, even though this kid from rural Washington State came to a booming metropolis like Las Vegas at the time, I could make it work, and we were still humans and we could still connect. And from there, my first year got better, and I've just really never looked back. And here I am 26 years later with 20 as a principal, just doing what I do.
Woo! Love it. Love it right there, brother. And let's round off. Kenya, talk to us.
Yeah, so I would say the motivation for me was the aha moment that I experienced after becoming a mother at a very, very young age, dropping out of college, after 1 year, and having the realization that education and educators could have absolutely changed the trajectory of my life. I by no means was a good student at all. I was, not a model student, especially by the time I got to high school. Grades they were what they were. I was in Saturday school, summer school. The disrespect. My mom had a tough time with me. And so in school, so I was not supposed to be here, as they say. But after going through some of those life transitions, it was an aha moment that said, you know what? education was supposed to change this for me. Education and the educators in my life were supposed to, in a way, help make this better for me. And so that was the what for me in the motivation was having that aha moment. Then the who, when I was in that aha moment, were three people: my sister, my younger sister Kenesha, who had sense enough to inspire me to go back to school, get back in college, even with the child. My daughter, who I had, who was still a baby, because simply she deserved better. And since I now knew better about education, then she deserved better. And then my brother, my younger brother, because when he was going through school, he absolutely deserved better. He was passed on. Yes, he made it, big star athlete, all these things, but he did not have a fair shot in education due to the lack of educators and their relationships with him. So that's the who and the what for my motivation. And then my first year in the classroom, I will say it was not terrible, but it was not good. I am still very much connected to the kiddos I had in that class. They are all grown adults. Most of them have their own families now, and doing their own life, and I'm still apologizing. And so the only reason I would say that it wasn't completely terrible was because the culture of the school that I had stepped into was an established culture, and they weren't going to let me be terrible. I had a phenomenal principal who was also a coach, Lee Rowland. He made sure that, you know, you've signed on to serve with us. This is how we roll. So as not great as I was absolutely being held accountable with those kids, but little did they know I was going home. It was so hard that first year because I was studying everything. I had to study what I taught. I didn't want to go in there and mess up. And then I was trying so hard not to mess up that I was messing up. So it was, it was hard, but it was a learning experience, and it absolutely helped to shape and mold me to become a better educator. And I'm still apologizing.
Thank you very much, panel. Exactly, just like Constance Gerard said, that's a beautiful. You know what? I'm very blessed. The Lord has blessed me to be interact with so many educators like yourself. That when you're here, I mean, just truth bombs come out. You know, and the truth, because people need to hear everything about our field. But you know what? We all don't start being fabulous. It takes a while, especially when you deal with so many different kids with so many different backgrounds, and just to get our feet planted to become the best version of ourselves takes a while. So thank you very much. Stick. Shika?
Oh. um, So shout out to Josh because we talked about all of that negativity that's in education, but you are the change that we need to see because this platform allows for positivity to be elevated. And I'm inspired. We're only on question 3 by all of you all's stories so far. And I had a principal my first year, similar to what Dr. Griffin described. I was called into the principal's office my first year. A group of us, he thought we were late for a PD. So he was giving us the business. And I said, can I say something? And he said, what? I said, I wasn't late, Mr. Harrison. Well, get out of here then. Not an apology or anything, but it was okay. I got over it. And but I knew my first year that I was in the right profession because I was alternative certified. I came in from the business world. I wasn't used to all of the germs. I had gotten really sick the first year from the kiddos. So I was out for about a week with a sinus infection, and one of the teachers called. She was really worried. She said, Miss Houston, the children wanted me to call you because they want to make sure that you're coming back. I said, oh, yes, ma'am. I'm going to be back. I haven't quit. I'm coming back. I'm just sick. But I knew that if the children were wanting me to be there, I knew that I definitely had done the right thing in changing my field over and was making the impact that I wanted to make. So think about that moment that you knew that you had made the right decision about education. And we will start with you, Assistant Superintendent Clark.
Okay, well, it was early on that I knew that I made the right decision. I had a student in my seventh grade science class that was acting up, and my mother had taught alternative education for a time period. So I called her sometimes when I was struggling too. And so I had this student and he was acting up, and I didn't know what to do with him. So she was very good at telling me, you might be the only smiling face he sees every day, and you need to make sure that he with a positive interaction and that kind of a thing. Well, one day he had just given me more than I could handle, and I was like, "That's it, mister. You're going to have after school detention." And he straightened up and he said, and I was lucky to work in a district that was enough to make somebody that was my hardest student straighten up. I know that was a lucky thing too. But uh, so he stayed after class and he said, "Miss, I cannot stay after school. I have to go home." And I said, "Well, you should have thought about that before you were acting a fool." And he showed me a little bracelet around his ankle that I had never seen before in my little protected lifetime. And so I was like, "Oh my, okay. Well, I don't quite know what to do with you here. So I guess you're going to have lunch detention instead." And so just that moment sticks out to me just because it had never crossed my mind the background of some of my students, that they're coming in and they could care less probably about my science lesson at the time. And my mom really made sure that I knew that, he might struggle reading. He might struggle being the oldest kid in class. He might struggle being the poorest kid in class. You just don't know his background, but you just need to be thoughtful and nice, and 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 love him through whatever he's got, and teach him as much science as you possibly can. And so we ate pizza the next day, and he apologized to me and he said he wouldn't act up in my class anymore. And he didn't learn a lot. I mean, a lot of science maybe, but he absolutely taught me a lot about teaching all kids and understanding where that not all of them came from a two-family home like me, a two-parent home like me, and I knew that I needed to be there for every single kid, and that when they were acting out, it was probably nothing to do with me and something to do with something they had at home. And I was just going to go make sure that I could give them the best of myself every single day. And that moment was when I was like, "Yep, I'm going to look for the kids who need me every single day." And I have done it ever since, I think. So
That's
that was the
awesome.
moment.
I love that, because you're right. A lot of the things that are going on with children don't have anything to do with us. And it's really that we need to learn what's going on in their world. So I love that you shared that. Dr. Griffin, what was that moment that you realized you knew that you had chosen the right profession?
Well, when I was thinking about that, it's a lot of things that come to mind. But I would probably say one of the things that comes to mind uh, the most would probably be when my 12-year-old student was driving his car to practice. And I was an English teacher, and also at this particular time as a middle school coach. And this young man called me Pop to this day. But I knew then that it was circumstances going on way, way beyond anything that I could imagine during the time that we were together. So that was one of the things that really, really impacted me and gave me a sense of knowing that I had an obligation. It was deeper than just me teaching, because I fought it for a long time, even while as a young educator and even as an older educator. I fought it. I've totally embraced my love for it over the last 10 years or so. However, this over the course of a 24, 25-year career. So, but that was one turning point for me, because I can see it vividly when he pulled up the first time, because I thought it was a prank or something. But it was like that was what the norm was. And then I actually had to end up meeting the mom and kind of seeing some of the things that were going on, some of the things that I had to, connect with him that no one else would that he had available would be able to talk to him about, and things that nature. So you helping kids academically, spiritually, financially, even, and those type of things really impact you and how you deal with kids.
Very true. Education definitely opens us up to a whole new set of norms that we may not have ever heard of, learned, and that we still have to empathize with if we're going to have a true impact on children. So thank you for sharing that. We'll go to you next, Chad. That moment that you realized that you were in the right profession.
Absolutely. So I had a student named Jesse, and Jesse was this student who everyone in the school knew his name, no matter what grade level they were in. He was the kid who you were hearing over the loudspeakers. If something bad happened, his name was normally connected to it in some shape or form. And I taught him last period science of the day, right? And so he would usually get out of class before he would get to my class. So I barely saw this kid for the first couple weeks of school. So I'm meeting with my team and I'm going, hey, I know this kid's a challenge, but I'm never seeing him in my last period science class because he's getting kicked out at period 1, period 3, period 4. He's never making it to the end of the day. I'm trying something new in my classroom. I think it might work for him, but I don't know yet. Can I go get him from in-school suspension? So I had a conversation with my principal, with the teachers, and I was like, let me try something. And my principal pulled me aside and he said, here's the deal. You take him out, you can't put him back in unless there's a severe thing going on, right? You can't go against the policy and then just go, I don't feel like dealing with this kid today. So every single day I go walk to in-school suspension, get this kid and bring him to my classroom. And this amazing started to happen because, like I said, kids were working at their own pace in a student-centered mastery framework in my classroom. He was able to work at his own pace, get help when he needed it, and he started to thrive in my classroom. But the moment that was the most impactful to me, it was a Friday at the end of the day, and I was dead teacher tired. You know the tired I'm talking about when you barely make it out of the door? The reason you sit in your car for 3 minutes and don't do anything, you just sit there and breathe for a second. Y'all know the moment I'm talking about. So I was dead tired, and all of a sudden I get a call in my classroom and they say, Jesse's mom's here to see you. And it's this moment where I'm like, what am I about to get yelled at for? Because we all have that moment too, when I don't know what I'm going to get yelled at for, but I'm sure it's something. So I just want to get home. I'm walking through the office doors, and this woman gives me the largest hug anyone other than my wife or my mother has ever given me. And I'm awkwardly just doing the don't get a lawsuit hug where you stick your arm straight out, you pat the back and lean away. You all know the hug. So it's one of those things where she just keeps saying out loud, Jesse got a B, Jesse got a B, Jesse got a B, because midterms had just come out. And I'm just awkwardly like, I know Jesse. I gave him the grade. He's been doing really good. And she pulls me away, and she's just manhandling me at this point. I have no control over this situation whatsoever. And she stares me in the face and she goes, I don't think you understand, sir. My son gets a lot of things. He gets D's, he gets F's, he gets suspensions, he gets in schools, he gets detentions, he gets all sorts of stuff going on. But he doesn't get B's. So I'm sure there wasn't a mistake his midterm. And I looked at her right in the face and I go, he gets them now. He can do this work. And the reason I say this, the reason I share this story in our book and when I do keynotes, the reason I share this story is because when I tell the story about Jesse, every educator that is hearing this right now had the name of a student in their head. We all have those Jessies in our classrooms. And so Jesse was my student. That was my moment that made everything that followed and everything before absolutely worth it as an educator.
I love that, Chad, because most of the students who receive intervention services are your Jessies. And that's one thing that I always tell my teachers. Everything that children have encountered a lot of times who receive those services has told them that they're not successful at school, that they can't do something, that they're not good at something. And what they need is an opportunity to feel successful. What they need is an opportunity for somebody to say, hey, you can actually do something. And that's exactly what you did with believing in Jesse and making him believe in himself and even his mother believing in him. So that is a phenomenal story. Thank you for sharing that. All right, Principal on the roll, Miss Principal Kenyelle.
Man, so the moment for me, I would have to say that it was the moment I received an accolade, which was in my third year of teaching. I was voted our site teacher of the year. Just in 3 years, I had not even imagined, especially in the school, I had stepped into an established culture. Those were some go get them kind of educators, still are. It was hard and heavy. And I had never, especially in 3 years, even felt like I had belonged in that classroom. Like it's me standing up, trying to teach. Like I said, going home studying every night, all the things. Well, within that, our school was notorious for doing it big for our site teacher of the year. And I remember that my team that I was teaching with had gotten all of my students together, and my scholars wrote letters to me. And I think for those first 2 years, and even in that third year, I was in just go mode, go get 'em mode. I realized I hadn't offered a lot of time for students to use their voice, for students to, talk about their experience with me. I didn't realize that I didn't know how my scholars felt about me. And so for the first time, when I had, gotten the book that they had assembled for me, it was a beautiful book of just all of these letters from scholars that had encountered me. And I just remember taking that book home and for the first time reading these unscripted letters. And I know they were unscripted because there were things like, even though you raise your voice at us, even though you make me do this, even though you make, it was all the truth stuff, all the things that were happening, totally unscripted. These kids had expressed to me that I meant something to them. And I just remember losing it, just crying, just my heart. Everything was just so full of joy because for the first time, I realized I was truly making a difference. I was becoming that teacher, that educator, the facilitator of learning that I had always dreamed of, that I had wanted, that I had needed. And so that was the moment for me in year 3, reading that book, still have that book. I take it with me everywhere I go. It grounds me just to say, you know what, you accepted the call and this is where you are supposed to be.
I love that. And I love that they did that for you. I just made a mental note to take back to my district. Teacher of the year, we need to start assembling some of these books and the letters because that is something that you can always be able to look back to and have a great memory for. So that's awesome. All right. Last but not least, Robert, what was that moment that you knew you were in the right profession?
So I was thinking about this. I mean, I got to listen to everybody else, and there's been many of them. Of course, I just talked about my first story when I gave a high five to Sean, and I've pretty much known I was in the right spot since then. But I think while listening to Chad and reflecting a little bit, again, shameless plug, but more than just teaching, I wrote a book, and the main person in there for me is a student named Karen. And so I was thinking about this. We are more than just teachers. We are we are counselors. We are just a shoulder to cry on and all those things. It was my second year teaching, and you're going through your motions the first day. This is like my like talk about my keynote about how you're more than just a teacher and your legacy. So you're going through the motions that first day, and we had specials an hour in, and I looked over and Karen was crying, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've had her an hour. What did I do? Like, I mean, how did I make her cry already? I haven't even said anything to her. And again, being a kid from a small town, even though it was my second year, of course, I go up to her, and I get down on one knee and I'm like looking at her and I'm like, oh my gosh, honey, what's wrong? Like, are you okay? And I usually don't tell people what she said, but I will today. But she goes, I no speak English that good. And it broke my heart because I wondered how much anxiety this poor fourth grader had in the days leading up to being in my classroom. And I will never, ever forget that. And that's why I talk about in legacy, when Facebook started to get big about 2011, Erin posted a picture of her and I from the end of fourth grade, and she gave me all these great accolades about how I was a wonderful teacher and I helped her to be who she became. And I think, legacy matters and what you do matters. And even though that would have been my 12th year when she posted that, I think we need reminders throughout the years that we still have chosen the right profession. And again, in my keynote, that's what I talk about is you are more than just a teacher. You're more than a coach. You're more than a support staff. You're more than a principal. You're more for the rest of these people's lives. And what you do matters. And so again, I think all of us have that kid, like Chad was saying, that validates that we chose the right profession. And for me, seeing that Facebook post from Karen just solidified it even more.
That's awesome. A lot of people needed to hear that. I'm an advocate for our multi-language learner students in our district as well, because a lot of times they are another group that's very underserved in a lot of schools. So I love that you shared that. If you all would share in the comments, if you're in education, what was that moment that you realized that you were in the right profession? And also like, share, subscribe, send the stars, do all the things that all of the platforms do, because we want everybody to hear all of this positivity and all of the gems that our panel is dropping. Over to you, Josh.
Perfect. So we'll start off here with a Roller King principal on a roll. Kenyelle, let's go back. It's a two-part question. Not that complicated, but the week before we leave for Christmas vacation, we do either the 12th day of Christmas theme, or we do the ugly sweater theme, or we do the, it has a niche depending on middle school, elementary, or high school. So what's your best memory of that week before? And it doesn't matter whether you're your first year, fifth year, whatever year it was. And question number two, what was the best gift your parents gave you when you were young?
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
Let me see. Okay, so I would say my favorite or my best memory of the week before we left, very similar. This year was amazing as well. We are very intentional before any break at Midway City Middle School about a good send-off. Not even just a good send-off, but a great send-off. We've got to leave with laughter. We got to leave with good memories. However, even though this year was pretty good, I have to go back to the year before last year, which my second year as head principal. We had a Deck the Halls contest. And our challenge is we don't just talk about and promote, Christmas. We do all the winter holidays. And so we're talking about, teachers, and we have a very diverse population in our scholars and a very diverse staff as well. We're in a military town. And so we have people, from all over. And the year before last, I would have to say our entire school was just like the whole winter season, whether it was winter solstice, it was Kwanzaa, it was Hanukkah, it was Christmas. It was beautiful. And you could walk down the hallway and just feel like you're walking into a whole new country, continent, culture. When I tell you our staff really outdid themselves with lights, decor, even the food that was brought in, the way that we were dressed. It was amazing. So the year before last is definitely a top-notch send-off that we had for our scholars and our staff. And then part two, I would have to say, okay, no judgment. I remember begging and begging and begging when I was I had to be elementary, so maybe fourth or fifth grade, all year long for, I have no idea why, but a Notre Dame starter jacket. I didn't know nothing except for Rudy, right? Y'all remember the movie Rudy? It's a favorite. I didn't know nothing about anything about Notre Dame except for Rudy. So I begged for that starter jacket and from Notre Dame, and lo and behold, my mom and dad made it happen. Everybody else had one, and they made sure that their baby girl wasn't left out. So the Notre Dame starter jacket has to be my favorite, most memorable gift.
Love it. Thank you for sharing that. Big shout out to Central Hicks from Texas. Thank you for being here today. And Donovan Smalls II. Thank you for being here today. Hey, Joe. Hey, Joe. Dr. Joe. ¿Qué pasó? What's your favorite moment before Christmas and your favorite gift?
My favorite moment before Christmas. And I was trying to make sure I heard that right when Kenya was answering it. And my favorite moment before Christmas, that's a tough one, Josh. My favorite moment before Christmas.
Did you wear the ugliest sweater?
And then the other part, what'd you say?
Wear the ugliest sweater? Did you wear a Dallas Cowboy sweater? Did you wear something?
Everyone wears Dallas Cowboy sweaters. I thought that was like a common thing for people. No? Okay. My favorite thing, I guess, and you're talking about it at school,
Yeah,
right?
School. You know how you do the themes like 12 days before Christmas.
We built up a good legacy, I guess, for Christmas break. Like the first year at one school, we had the Santa, buy a gift. Everyone pulled a name out of the Santa's helper. Then we had the dinner. And then we had the actual offsite get together. And then the last year we actually had a party bus, and we went on a night capade, and it was great. So those were great Christmas send-offs basically. And we built the trust up each year with that particular staff. And we got to the point at that final year where we were actually able to have a party bus, and everything went well. It was a great experience. But yeah, those were some great send-offs. And then the other part was what, Josh?
As a kid, what was your best gift you ever got, Dr. Joe?
Besides life and living.
Now you're faking the funk, bro. Now you're faking the funk.
I never fake the fun because I'm thankful like that. I'm at that point for real. But I would say my favorite gift as a kid, probably, and I don't know what happened to it. It was this guitar that I got in like the third or fourth grade, and I played that thing and I couldn't even play it, but I played it. And I don't know what happened to it. I remember it was a hole in it at some point though. And I didn't have it anymore after that.
All right. Thanks for sharing. I don't know about you. I was waiting for that Atari 2600, baby, back in the Jurassic period. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Tammy, talk to us.
You took mine for the Atari because that was a big deal. That was a big deal back then with the Frogger game. Come on. So I guess I'm going out of order, but for favorite Christmas, leading up to Christmas at school, we have a wonderful little Christmas evening where we have s'mores outside. Some of the dads bring their fire pits and we have s'mores outside. We have a guy who brings it's just the whole community just comes together. A guy brings his horse-drawn carriage and they do carriage trail around the track at one of the elementary schools, and they have the book fair at the same time, and the stargazers come out with their telescopes so people can see that. And each of the different hallways they have all of their lights, but they have like a photo booth that they put up that's a Christmassy photo booth, and Santa is there and they take their Santa photos, and it's just a wonderful celebration with the community for Christmas. And so it is a wonderful, wonderful time. So that is fun, and that is one of my favorite evenings to go and enjoy with our community. But yes, for the second part, it was the Atari. I did not ever think that I would get the Atari ever. And so when it was under the Christmas tree, that was a big, big deal. So
Right? There were $200.
there you go. That dates me.
There were $200 back then. $200 was a lot.
It was a lot of money. And so I was positive I wasn't getting one. So it was for my sister and myself. So both of us had to share it, but it was wonderful. So I got the Frogger game. She got the Donkey Kong game. Might have been the first time on Earth that we shared. So that was a good thing.
You got to love that. Robert, talk to us.
I got two things leading into winter break that I love. Every year we do a theme in our school. It's very in-depth. I love themes. Wrote a book about that too. And every theme, they get something tangible at the beginning of the year. This year, our theme is It's Our Time. So they all got a time capsule. And on the bottom of the time capsule was a number. And so every year they come in, the staff comes in, and we do a drawing for certain prizes that the community or that we get through philanthropy. And we just hand out gift cards. We hand out random stuff that people are nice enough to donate to the school. That's fun for the staff. And then we have a winter sing-along out in the courtyard. And the best part about that is that in Vegas, it doesn't snow, but we have snow machines. And so eventually at the end, we just start blasting the snow, and the kids think it's snowing, because our mantra here is that Tyrone Thompson it isn't a school, it's an experience. And so we try to give the kids that experience with the snow, and you can see it on Facebook or Instagram. It's awesome, because again, in Vegas, these kids don't know what snow is really. So those are my two favorite things leading up to the break. And then kind of keeping along the theme here, I remember sitting on the couch and opening a card next to my brother, who was younger, so I could read better than him. And I read through it, and at the end it said, "It's in the TV room." And I was up like a shot, and I went in there and found a Nintendo, to which I then played Super Mario Brothers for the whole break.
Nice. Chad, close us off right here, brother. Tell us a little bit about your experiences.
Absolutely. My favorite experience from a teacher perspective before break was always when we would have a concert. The school I was at would make it like a half day. So if parents came to get their kids, they went home kids, like it was around like lunchtime. So the reason I loved that though is because I got to see my learners and my students through non-academic settings. So even some of the kids that weren't great in the classroom would be able to thrive band or the choir concert or whatever that thing was. And then we'd have like staff and student basketball games, volleyball games. So just being able to fully connect with the students on a level that was like threatening or academic and just purely human, and seeing them thrive in those environments was always my absolute favorite thing, which is why I would take my lunch break dodgeball and gym with the kids and stuff like that. But that wasn't a Christmas, just something fun I did. But my favorite gift, I definitely had a starter at some point. I think it was Pittsburgh Penguins. So Kenyelle, definitely feel you on the starter jacket. But the greatest gift my parents ever gave me was my mom was a special education teacher. And I remember seeing her during IEP season. Like, we weren't allowed to bother my mom because she would have like all these files, like old school, like laid out on like the basement floor, like figuring out what her kids needed. And the gift that gave me was not received until I was an adult educator. I received it as a kid, but I didn't realize I received it, because what that told me was we can do anything for kids because they deserve it. I saw my mom like just go to town, like doing everything she possibly could for her students and what they needed. And I didn't realize it was a gift at the time, but I absolutely feel that job in my work and education every single day. That was a pretty great gift. And I don't even know if she realized she gave me that gift, but if she's listening, she does now.
Love it. Thank you for sharing, everybody. Dr. Houston, you got it.
All right. So if we're talking about marketing our schools, everybody's going to be looking up Dr. Griffin, talking about where they do that party bus at. They're going to be trying to find your school. So the last episode of the Real Academy, Dr. Taylor and I, we do a year in review looking at 2025 over the year, what took place. So for this next question, it's a two-parter. Looking back on 2025, tell us what your best experience was, either with a student or as an individual, and what obstacle did you face that you were able to successfully conquer. And this time we'll start with Robert.
I knew you were going to start with me because this is the one I have to think about for a second.
And we can come back to you if you need to.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
So I think for me personally at our school, the biggest celebration or the biggest, the great thing was being named a 5-star school. We worked hard for that. Again, opening in the middle of the pandemic, I can't explain to you enough how we created history opening online, a school online. Is just nuts. It's a great challenge, but then too, you're hiring all your people online. It was a weird time, and you weed the garden, and then last year it all just came together, and we proved that it can be done. One of the areas I struggle with that I continue to try to overcome is complacency. I think this is our 6th year here, and our average is up here. So familiarity can be difficult sometimes, and you start to get complacent, and you're trying to keep people motivated. One of the reasons the NFL or NBA, they change coaches so often is because the message gets lost, and the people start to tune you out. And in year 6 or 7, things of that nature, I don't want them to tune me out or what we're trying to do. So I'm constantly trying to find ways to connect with the people, motivate them, give them what they need. And I think that's just a challenge I'll face probably for the next 4 years before I retire. And I think a lot of principals probably face that, as you get, I don't know how many years per se people have been at their school, but over time in today's world, change is necessary. And it's hard sometimes, but when your job as a principal is to get people out of their comfort zone so they'll grow, and then they get mad at you for getting them out of their comfort zone so they'll grow, they can start to tune you out or start to get mad. So I think a challenge for principals or leaders is complacency, and that's something I try to battle the status quo all the time.
Yeah, and I feel you. A friend of mine, we were talking today, and I'm not proselytizing. It's Sunday. We were talking about the Bible. Luke 4:24 says it's hard to be a prophet in your own land. So that's why you bring in speakers like me or Josh or Dr. Joe Griffin, so that message doesn't get lost. But I absolutely feel what you're saying. So we will go to Chad next. Over 2025, looking back, your best experience with a student individually, and also an obstacle that you were able to overcome.
Absolutely. So I had a few really great experiences. I'll kind of collectively talk about them. Definitely working with school on giant shifts in instruction, working with individual teachers on changing their instructional ideology is a really big shift. It's a really big ask, and I'm sure a lot of people on the screen know exactly what I mean by that. And getting out of that comfort zone, as Robert says. And so when I'm getting teachers to shift to mastery learning, I'm very upfront with them. I go, it's okay if you don't believe me right now, but it's not okay if you don't believe me and don't try, right? So it's a very big thing. And I got an email from a teacher that was like, hey, crap during the workshop, just so you know, but I did the stuff that you told me, and now I'm more growth, more success, more of all the things you told me I was going to see. And so anytime I get moments like that, it's always like a huge win. Also, a lot of the schools working with, we're now getting those state reports back, and they're being able to celebrate meeting those growth goals, all of that sustainable growth. Those are just some professional kind of scholarly wins that I just want to celebrate for the year. On a personal level, I actually completed my first half Ironman this year, which I've never done a triathlon before. I've done marathons before. I like a runner at all, and I'm the slowest person in the entire world, just so everyone understands that. But I was able to finish my first half Ironman event. It was my first triathlon ever, so I got to swim and run really for over 7 hours, and I got that done. So that's my big obstacle that I accomplished personally this year.
I love it. Josh picks at me because I'm pescatarian. So I've done a lot of 5Ks, really into health and wellness. So congratulations to you. And you gotta love that teacher honesty when they're emailing you about your workshop. But
I'd rather have them be honest and reflective than lie to my face and not do anything after. But at the end of the day, they did the work. Matters. That's what matters.
Yep. Absolutely. So, Dr. Griffin, we'll hear from you next. And I know you might have to log off a little bit early because you're going to be on with Dr. Chester for Kwanzaa. So, over 2025, was there a success individually or with a student, and also an obstacle that you overcame?
Yeah, I would just say my best experiences this year were the different professional developments that I was able to conduct for different principals and superintendents that trusted me to come in and support their staffs. So that really is, I'm grateful for that, because I know that that's not something that you have to do. I know that's not something that got people that have been in business for way longer than me that don't have that opportunity. So I'm thankful and grateful for those experiences with those professional developments, as well as the school improvement project that I'm working on currently. So those experiences are great because you get to help empower other people. You get to go in and see weak spots. You get to add perspective. And the thing about it, and this is where superintendents, principals, and other leaders have to be secure in what they do, kind of like you said, profiting your own land. It's hard because you want to have that extra voice that comes in and support what you already have in place. And when you're able to do that, that just means a lot. And I kind of bridge the gap between leadership and literacy. And then I have a team of affiliates that are able to help us do these particular projects. So I'm thankful for that. Those experiences are great in itself. It gives you a chance to reach out. The biggest obstacle, of course, being in a business, being a small business, having to grow from the ground up. That's an obstacle in itself, and it takes a level of courageousness, a level of discipline and stick-to-itiveness that you can't relent. You have to constantly be connecting with people. You have to constantly be studying, constantly getting yourself better to be even more equipped than you are at that particular moment. So all those are obstacles that I love, obstacles that I work on every single day. I'm thankful for all of that. And over this break, I've had a chance to kind of recharge and rejuvenate. So I'm really, really happy about the obstacles, because even in the pain, you got to find the joy, because that's how we keep going.
Absolutely. All right, principal on the roll.
Yeah, I would say so. An individual success that really has, I would say, it has manifest now into a whole building success is our initiative on wellness. Um, at Midwest City Middle School, we practice the 8 dimensions of wellness. and we practice 2 dimensions per quarter. Like we really focus on it. We practice all 8 of them, but we have had an intentional focus each quarter on 2 dimensions, and we've done this for the past 3 years. And this is the first year when I'm reflecting on 2025 that there is true, authentic believe in, not just the buy in piece. I tell our staff, I don't want you to buy into anything that I'm doing. Believe in it so that you trust the process. And I love what you said earlier, just about it's not okay if you don't believe and don't try. And this year is the first year where we truly have that believe in staff wide, because the collective language is there. The collective effort is there when everyone is just taking care of each other. We are so well in our building. Our teacher attendance has gone up. It has increased significantly. People are showing up. People want to be there. The staff is asking, how can I help you? We have a wellness room that was created for us over the summer. And then we have staff members who have now become part of the culture committee in our school that are over all things that make and keep us well. And I say it was something individually that manifests whole building, because I've realized going through my life transitions a couple of years ago, how beaten down and bent I was, out of shape, trying to walk into a school and take care of scholars and take care of other people and have these conversations with people, and I wasn't well myself. And so I had to do the work to be well so that I could keep doing the work that I was called to do. And so I was, on this quest for my own wellness, and then showing up and being afforded the honor to be a principal now of a whole building. We have over 100 people on staff, and to see and hear everybody using the language of the 8 dimensions of wellness, participating in the activities, communicating with me about it. I now have a core group of staff members who come and do a check-in with me. They're modeling what I was doing with them. And now they turn around, Ms. Session, it's my weekly check-in with you. The biggest thing that I'm proud of, that I will say again individually, that has turned collective, is I love you is normal in our school. I tell everybody, and have always told everybody, I love you. And I'm not just saying that, I'm going to show you. And I have teachers that will walk away and say, I love you, Miss Session. Our scholars, I love you. They say it to each other. It's a beautiful thing. And so I'm reflecting on 2025, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like, we're here, we're doing this, and we're well. So I'm so pleased with that.
I love that. And I love you. I do. And Josh and I I'm a part of Josh's 10,000 Steps Club, and he's a part of my Fit Minds and Fit Body. So wellness does matter, especially in education. So if you have a link to those 8 dimensions of wellness,
Yes.
Put that in the comments. People probably want to know more about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Our resource journal, it's actually a veterinarian journal. That's our source that we use, that talks about changing your habits, you change your lifestyle. And so if we make these our daily habits, these 8 dimensions, we're going to change our lifestyle, and we're going to be well so that we can take good care of others. So I will absolutely put that in there.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Assistant Superintendent Clark, 2
Yes.
things. Either your best experience individually with a student, and your obstacle that you overcame in 2025.
So I will say the celebration, more than just a student. We were in a year of transition. We had a superintendent leave last August, and we had an interim that came for the fall, and then we got our new superintendent in February. So in that transition year, just making sure that everybody kept the main thing, loving on our kids, making sure that they were getting the best instruction ever, and our accountability grade actually improved. Our our students actually performed better. So they continued to do the work. And so just that's a huge celebration that in a transition year is usually really kind of hard. And so making sure that we were staying the course was a great celebration for all of us and for all of our students. And so that's a big thing that I'd like to look back on 2025. I'm very proud of that. But as far as challenge, I think Texas has had an interesting legislative session this time, and there's a lot of things that have come out of it. And so, and some of them, you know, not necessarily keeping the focus. And so the challenge is to continue through all of this moment of, you know, political, whatever it is, still keeping the main thing the main thing. When we go to work every day, we are going to still give our kids the best instruction and the best love that we can, and we are going to make them future ready. And all of the extra noise has to be shut out so we can do our jobs well. So that's the challenge that I am challenging myself with, is to make sure that everything that I can do from my spot to make sure that everybody else can keep the focus where it needs to be. That is my challenge that I feel like I'm going pretty good. It's going pretty good, but there's just a lot of stuff out there that we have to sift through and keep the main thing the main thing. And so that's what moving into 2026 we're going to be doing.
I love that. Absolutely. I think that's probably my obstacle that I've overcome, staying positive in a climate that's not really that positive. Over to you, Josh.
Mine is real simple, guys. We're at the end of the show. We're almost to the lightning round. Mine is simple, chat. They're real simple, right? And at the end of this, if you guys got any podcast books to promote after this round, we're going to promote that out there so people can reach out to you. Chad, real simple. What's one goal for 2026 for you?
Continue increasing my impact and helping teachers reach the needs of more students.
Love it. Tammy, what's one goal for 2026?
Getting the noise away from everybody so that they can keep the main thing and continue to get better every day for our kids.
Beautiful. Joe, what's one goal for 2026?
Service 10 schools, 10,000 students.
Robert.
Yeah, man, mine's just continue to make an impact and use my platform, what I have to help kids, help schools, help districts, and as well as be the best leader at my school I can be.
Love it. Kenyelle, besides new wheels on your roller skates, what else do you want? What's the goal?
I literally wrote this down yesterday that I got from Dr. J. Autopsy feedback. That's it. Autopsy feedback.
Dr. Marcus Jackson, if you didn't hear it yesterday,
Yes.
that guy dropped a lot of gems yesterday. So check out Kafele with Dr. Marcus Jackson. Very true. All right, let's promo anything we got to promote. Tammy, you got anything to promote?
No,
Gotcha.
nothing to
Kenyelle.
promote.
Kenyelle.
No.
All right, Dr. Joe.
Definitely. I'm always just trying to help service schools with professional development, overall teacher effectiveness and coaching. I have several books as well. You told us to bring them, Josh. Empowering Education Community is a guide for teacher principal collaboration. That's endorsed by Principal Kafele as well as Dr. Pedro Noguera. DIP approach for educators, discipline culture plus instructional practices equals performance. That's the DIP approach. And of course, the DIP approach for student and adult success is an SEL curriculum. And can't forget our critical skills mastery workbooks. We have those completed, grades 2 through 7, and we're going to have 9 through 10 as well, basically hitting all of the ELA standards in not a spiral, but a curriculum format, reading literature, reading language, reading information, speaking and listening, as well as the writing. So those are some things that you can reach me at Joe at Dr. Joe Griffin Speaks.
Love it. I didn't know you had all that stuff out there. Reach out. A professional that walked the walk right there. Reach out to that cat. Robert.
Thank you. Thank you, JT.
Hey, yeah, along with keynote speaking and doing all that good stuff, which is awesome. There's nothing like walking into a room and firing up a bunch of educators and reminding them that their legacy matters. But, I have my More Than Just series. So I'm working on these books. More Than Just Teaching, I talked about, which is 25 educators and 50 stories that prove relationships matter more than anything. Is 25 teachers that write about their teacher that made an impact, as well as a student that made an impact upon them. Then you got More Than Just Support Staff, which are a bunch of support staff members throughout Clark County who are more than just their job. And then Mr. Tovar was kind enough to be a part of More Than Just Principals, which is 15 principals across the country, or award winners, podcast hosts, people just making an impact. My mentor, Lisa Primus, she's since retired. She lives in Tennessee, but she was one of the best ever. They are in there. And then, of course, in April, right before Assistant Principal Week, there will be More Than Just Assistant Principals coming out with some people who are actually listening right now. So it's a busy time, but we have to celebrate the people that are doing more than just what their basic role and responsibility are.
Love it. Thank you for sharing. Chad, throw it out there, my man.
Absolutely. If you need PD, workshop support, coaching, keynotes on mastery learning, student-centered instruction, improving student achievement, standards-based grading, assessment, or classroom management, we do all those things. You can check out our information at teachbetter.com. There's also the book on my shoulder, Teach Better, available on Amazon, but teachbetter.com has access to our courses if you want to book me, or you can find me on social or reach out to the Teach Better team on any of the social media channels.
Thank you for sharing that. And the other book is Grow Your Why, 23 Stories by 23 Educators, Barbara Bray, and yours truly, chapter 23, the last chapter of the book, Saving the Best for Last, right here. Yours truly, writing in these two. Thank you, Robert, for giving me the honor of working with you on that other book right there. Thank you. Stick, Dr. Shika Houston.
All right. So for 2026, if you all could give educators and our audience a piece of advice, and if you have a book or a podcast that you can recommend to them, let them have your knowledge. We'll start with Principal on the Roll.
Yeah, so I would say for 2026, this was something else that just came up this weekend, but teachers, while you are doing the work, while you are lighting others' candles and lighting others' flames along the way, do not be consumed by your own fire. Definitely practice your self-care, your self-preservation, but do not let your own fire consume you while you're out here doing the work.
Awesome. Any podcast recommendations or books?
I would say Monday Matters is a good podcast. So Principal Matters, I would definitely recommend that. That's a go-to. And then that would be, that's it.
Okay.
All of our Fantastic Four books.
Thank you. All right. Tammy.
Sure. So if I was going to give advice to a new teacher, I would say find a mentor to ask your questions to, get involved in your greater community, and keep your focus on the good. That's the advice that I would give a new teacher going in. And as far as a podcast, easy listen on the way into work. It's always very short and pretty motivational. I listen to Brian Kane every morning, Mental Performance Daily. And it's just an uplifting message. So
awesome.
Starts my day off right.
Thank you. Chad, what you got for the people?
Absolutely. Just remember, in terms of advice, you can do hard things. Teaching is one of the most difficult professions in the world, and every educator can do hard things. So even during those difficult times, remember, you will have harder times, but you've also had easier times, and you will get through it regardless of what's facing you. As long as you're a little bit better every single day, even when better is staying where you're at and not regressing, always focus on better. So that's my advice. In terms of podcasts, I think there's a great one right now, as well as the many that have been mentioned already. In terms of books, I think Robert and Joe have some great offerings that everyone should check out.
Awesome. Thank you. Robert?
Thanks for that, Chad. My piece of advice for teachers is just to hang in there and remember the bad times are what get you from good time to good time. Babe Ruth said, like when he would strike out, he said, well, I'm just one at bat closer to my next home run. So you just got to hang in there, and you'll never know 30 years from now when you retire, the ripple effect that you have had, and it cannot be measured. So just keep going, And I'm going to give a shout out to my co-author, Dr. Brad Johnson. His book, 212, Room 212, is fabulous. Every new teacher should probably read it because it basically will help you get through that first year if you're struggling.
Awesome. Love it. Dr. Griffin.
I'll just say that each day is a new lesson. Don't let prior outcomes, prior experiences cloud your future outcomes. You got to stay at it regardless of what you encounter. You cannot back down. You got to continue to refuel and reinvigorate yourself. So that's what I would advise the teacher. It's always a battle. You just got to keep at it.
All right. Any books, podcasts?
Besides the Fantastic Four, got to give you all your due respect. I definitely want to toot my own horn here. Had week 65 on yesterday. So we definitely want to keep that going. Keep what I call is a PD cast. Each week, we're going to have some good PD for you.
Love it. Love it. Over to you, Josh.
All right. Before we get into the lightning round, real quick, fill in the blank. Tammy, real quick. Tell the educator, finish this sentence, all right? Hey, educator, in 2026, I want you to
Love kids.
Kenyelle, hey, educator, in 2026, I want you to
Be fearless and authentic.
Hey, Robert, hey, educator, in 2026, I want you to
not be afraid to take chances and try new things.
Joe, hey, educator, in 2026, I want you to
be empowered.
Chad, hey, educator, in 2026, I want you to
fail beautifully and do hard things in spite the fact that you may fail.
Love it. And here we go. We're finishing off the show with a lightning round. Lightning round. This is called the PGP podcast. Ganas. You know what? There's Hispanics all over this Western Hemisphere, but we're not the same. We're not a monolith, but one word. One word connects all of us. Bolivia, Ecuador, Mexico, Cuba, Puerto Rico. One word connects all of us. That's why this is called the PG. Ganas connects us all. Doesn't matter which one. You have a grandma that will be yelling at her grandchild, échale ganas, mija. You got a mom with her son, échale ganas, mijo. It is universal. All Hispanics use it. So I want you to have that spirit of that grandma yelling to her grandchild. And we're starting with you, Chad. Remember, it is a lightning round. If I start looking at you like this, you're going too long, except for question number 2. So here we go. Échale ganas, Chad. Give advice to a new teacher.
Stay true to who you are. Find yourself in the profession.
Read a note, an email, a text from a parent, a colleague, or student that inspired you with their words.
I didn't know we were doing all of them at the same. So I'm thrown off now. I did just get a text from a teacher earlier this week thanking me for the work that we've done with their school and in their district, and saying that they're going to have a great break because of that work. So I'm going to use that one.
Send some flowers to an active colleague who inspires you.
Jeff Gargis, he's in crime here at Teach Better, does amazing work.
Name one person the audience should follow on social media.
Joshua Stamper.
Exactly. What would be your fantasy New Year's Eve location on Earth?
Ocracoke Island in the Outer Banks.
Oh, my Lord. Tell the audience that one hit wonder that you love to sing.
Oh, man. Smells Like Teen Spirit from Nirvana.
There we go. Which movie series is the best? Matrix, John Wick, or the Predator series?
Oh, my gosh. Let's do Matrix.
What is your New Year's resolution, sir? One word. One word.
Be better.
How can the audience get a hold of Chad? Let them know.
Chad at teachbetter.com, www.teachbetter.com, and any social channel on at teachbetterteam or at Chad Ostrowski.
Great organization. Make sure you follow him and that organization. Great stuff right there. Dr. Joe, lightning round. Give advice to a new teacher.
As I said before, just each day is a new one. Go in reinvigorated each day.
Read a note, an email, a text from a parent, a colleague, or student that inspired you with their words.
Okay. Let's see. It says, I'll never forget all the great things you've done for me as a teacher. You pulled me out of a very dark place in my career when I wanted so badly to leave. I appreciate the guidance and tools you have provided to help me grow. Thank you for believing in me and making me take U.S. history. Thank you for everything over the years. I'm a better teacher thanks to you. I will take everything I learned from you and move forward.
That's so, I love it. Send some flowers to an active colleague who inspires you.
I would say my friend Marcus Stokes. He's an administrator in Tennessee. He's been dealing with the death of his mother here lately, but he's an administrator and he's doing great work.
Name one person the audience should follow on social media.
I'm gonna say you, Josh. You got those 2 minute talks going good, man.
Thank you. What would be your fantasy New Year's Eve location on Earth?
A barbecue pit at the top of a mountain overlooking a beautiful city.
Woo! There you go.
Yes. Woo!
Tell the audience that one hit wonder you love to hear or sing.
Back in the day when I was young and not a kid anymore, that one right there.
Which movie series is the best? Matrix, John Wick, or Predator?
I would say John Wick.
What is your New Year's resolution or that one word?
One word. Defy.
How can the audience
Defy
get a hold of you, sir?
I can be reached, Joe, at drjoegriffin.speaks.com. That's my email. Website, www.drjoegriffin.speaks.com. Phone number 662-313-6018. Those are my contacts.
You're on fire, my man. Love it. Throw out all those numbers. Kenyelle, here we go. Give advice to the teacher.
Identify and define who you want to be in this work and embrace your evolution along the way.
Read a note, an email, a text from a parent, a colleague, or student that inspired you with your words.
Yeah, so this is from one of our staff members. It says, to my queen mother, Miss Session, thank you for welcoming me into MCMS with open arms and allowing me to be my best self and my crazy self. From day one, you have believed in me, and that has mattered to me more than you know. Thank you for always reminding me that I'm doing a great job, even when I don't feel like I am. Your encouragement grounds me and pushes me forward. I know I can be a lot sometimes, but you never judge me. Instead, sometimes, LOL, you join in on the fun. That grace does not go unnoticed. I'm especially grateful that you allow me to call you mom, even letting sixth graders truly believe that you gave birth to me, LOL. I look up to you, and not only as a principal, but as a leader, as a powerful, resilient Black woman. You inspire me to show up better, to lead stronger, and to dream bigger. You're stuck with me, daughter.
Wow.
Yes, so I love it. I love it. Send some flowers to an active colleague who inspires you.
Yeah, those go to Dr. LaShonda Broyles. She's our Deputy Superintendent for Middale Public Schools, a shero, showing up gracefully and with accountability and with excellence every day.
Name one person the audience should follow on social media.
Yeah, so Lee Rowland, and I should have put this up, his book, Fantastic Voyage. Follow Lee Rowland, his podcast, To Teachers Sincerely. Excellent. He's Lee Rowland on all platforms.
What will be your fantasy New Year's Eve location on Earth?
For me, Times Square with my family, only because I've only ever seen it on TV. So.
Tell the audience one hit wonder you love to sing.
Closing time. It's semisonic closing time. Every new beginning starts with, what is it? Every new beginning, it says, starts with some other beginning's end. That's it.
Which is the best series, The Matrix, John Wick, or The Predators?
Matrix.
What is your New Year's Eve resolution or that one word?
My one word is believe.
How can the audience get a hold of you and tap that knowledge?
So on Facebook, that's probably the easiest way. It's at Kenyelle Session on Facebook, Instagram, Kenyelle Session 03, or on X, I am KRS21 Williams. And that's it. Either one of those.
Love it. Tammy, here we go. Give advice to a new teacher.
I would say give yourself grace. You're getting better.
Read a note, an
Just
email, a
keep it
text from a parent, colleague, or student that inspired you with their words.
So I keep a lot of notes. So this was difficult. I picked one that was recently on Facebook, a former student athlete. And it was a post that I had received an honor. And she wrote, "You are the most deserving person. I'm still jealous of all the people that get to be mentored by you on a daily basis." And so that's inspiring.
Woo! Eso. Send some flowers to an active colleague who inspires you.
Those would go to probably Stacy Brown. She's our director of teacher and learning. She does a lot of hard work behind the scenes and just goes unnoticed, but by a lot of people, but not by me. She works very, very hard and deserves those flowers.
Love it. Name one person the audience should follow on social media.
I would still say Brian Kane. It'll start your day off with a good shot of motivation.
What would be your fantasy New Year's Eve location on Earth?
So I would probably return to Colorado with my husband and the mountains at an Airbnb under the snow in a hot tub, looking at the mountains.
Love it. Tell the audience that one hit wonder you love to sing.
Oh, I'd be Walking on Sunshine with Katrina and the Waves on a one-hit wonder.
There we go. Which is the best series, The Matrix, John Wick, or Predators?
John Wick, for sure.
What is your New Year's Eve resolution or that one New Year word?
Intentional.
How can the audience get a hold of you, young lady?
Young lady is on Facebook, so there's that. So at Tammy Clark on Facebook, or on X, it's at Tammy Clark 29. Or you can email me at my work address. Find me at granburyisd.org and connect with me at work, and I would love to connect with people.
Love it. And we're saving Vegas time right now, closing time with Robert Hinchcliffe. Here we go, my man. Give advice to a new teacher.
Kids are worth it. Hang in there.
Read a note, an email, text from a parent, colleague, or student that inspired you with their words.
I got a nomination from a colleague for something and a paragraph from there, 4 sentences. Principals cannot be afraid to make unpopular decisions. If it's best for kids, it's best for the school, and it's the right thing to do. So many principals will just go with what is popular, what will make their teachers happy, or blindly do what higher ups say. The great principals are not afraid to upset or rattle some cages, especially when it's best for kids. Robert Hinchcliffe is that type of leader.
Love it. Eso. Send some flowers to an active colleague that inspires you.
I got to be honest, Josh, I'm going to send them to you because you are relentless with your posts and everything that you do for your kids and shouting out positives.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. You threw me for a loop. Names. What?
That's good. You deserve it, man. You deserve it.
What would be your fantasy New Year's Eve location on Earth?
Tammy stole mine. I would like to be in the mountains surrounded by just my family with the snow falling and silence and peace.
Tell the audience about that one hit wonder that you love to sing.
Chumbawamba. I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Woo! What is the favorite movie series? Matrix, John Wick, or Predators?
So I'm going to be honest, I don't watch any of them, but I'm going to pick John Wick because the Vegas Golden Knights come out of the tunnel to John Wick mode.
There you go. What is your New Year's resolution or that one New Year's Eve word?
So when I post the cities I go to, I call it the Make an Impact Tour. So my word is impact.
And how can people get a hold of you, sir?
I am at www.roberthinchcliffe.com, or I'm Principal with a Y on Instagram. But if you really want to find me, just look for Tyrone Thompson Elementary School, and you will be able to get a hold of me in some way, shape, or form.
Thank you, panel. What a way to beso. Adios to 2025. What a beautiful set of words, experiences, knowledge dropped here. And you got all of the United States here. You got one coast to the other coast and the Midwest represented today, because that's the beautiful thing about this profession, that we're here to support each other nonstop, alpha, omega, A through Z, and you heard it here tonight. Remember, starting 2026, you're not alone. You choose to be alone. This thing right here will connect you with educators from all over the world. Don't get caught up with all that social media nonsense. No, it can be used for good, as you saw today. You've got experiences, you've got knowledge from A to Z again, and it's all here for you because it's free. It's free PD, part of the Fantastic Four, Teach Better team. Everybody out there, it's free for you. You just got to be able to reach out. You got to make it a concerted effort. So if you did not have the best year last year in 2025, it's okay. 2026 is your year. But you know what? If you improve, you know what? Your scholars will be the best individuals out there, because you're building the future leaders of the United States, of this beautiful melting pot that gives everything to everybody with that hard work and dedication. And that's why we're here. We know we ain't got money. No state has money. We're all broke. It's hard to get those POs to take a group of people to conferences. We don't have that anymore. Back in the Jurassic period, we had that in the 90s, in the zeros. We ain't got that anymore. But it's right now. You've got all of this right here at your fingertips. You've got all these podcasts, Educational Week, Edutopia. You got all of these resources free at your hands. So reach out, like and share the show if you appreciate it. Follow all of these people on the panel, because they're here for you. You're not alone. Don't forget that, because the better you become, the better this country becomes. And we need more positivity out there. We need to stop shooting ourselves in the foot with negativity and toxicity. We need to do what's best, because you know what? On that first day back, make sure that you remember and you look at that pop. You're going to see the pop. Those kids walking in, and they're going to look at you. Yeah, they're going to look at you in Iowa, you in Nebraska, you in South Dakota, and they're going to say, I missed you, Mrs. Insert the name. I missed you, Mr. Insert the name. You might miss your principal because she's roller skating down the hallway, but that's okay. She loves you, and she'll tell you she loves you, just like all of us out here. So thank you for being here. Like and share the show. Panel, thank you for being here. Next week, join us for episode 87, Taking Care of Your Temple with Robert Sellers. Principal L, you might have heard that guy, and this other guy known as Baruti Kafele. You might have heard him. They'll be talking to you about taking care of the shell. So join us next week. Panel, say goodbye to everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy New Year.